Smith is the lone setback. That's Novacek on the move, and Aikman will put it up. Outside Novacek. Outside the 30. A gain of about 7. Stopped by John Johnson. Here is the 49er defensive line. Wilson, Washington, the rookie Dana Stubblefield, who's had an outstanding year. The linebackers, Romanowski, Walter, and John Johnson. In the secondary, Griffin and Merton Hanks, Tim McDonald, and Eric Davis. 2nd and 3. Again, the only back behind Aikman is Emmett Smith. Emmett tossed for a loss. First hit by Carl Wilson.
That's what the 49er defense was talking about. Not only to get to Emmett Smith, but get to him in the backfield, get penetration. And on that first play there, you see Carl Wilson get it. Carl Wilson is going to be here. Now, again, you have to keep the defense on this side. He breaks that plane. Now, watch what he does. He just comes right there. He comes to the inside, then starts going back to the outside. And there was no inside, nor was there a bounce out.
Romanowski filled it inside. Aikman back to throw. They lost a yard last play. Outside Emmett Smith. Emmett still on his feet into 49er territory to their 43. 44 make it. Tim McDonald tripped Emmett up.
Now that right shoulder sure looked okay because you could see him picking them up with his right hand there. And again, he said last week that it affected his running style, that right separated shoulder. But you watch him move here and watch his running style, that right hand is not affected. You see how he has to keep it out there and move it to balance, move it to keep guys off, and then at the end, move it to hold on to the ball. He did all those things.
A gain of 28 yards on the pass completion from Aikman to Emmett Smith. Reverse to Harper, who can throw it left-handed for Irvin. Incomplete. Merton Hanks back to break it up. That surprised no one.
You know, one thing about Jimmy Johnson, he's always going to have a trick in there, and he's going to have the trick early. Watch, here comes Harper around on the reverse. They pull Big Gogan out there. See 66, see Nate Newton. He has pretty good protection. He just throws it as long and as hard as he can, but Michael Irvin doesn't get open. That did not fool Tim McDonald.
Pass a little bit behind, but it was not that bad a throw. 2nd and 10. This time Darrell Johnston lines up in front of Emmett Smith. Fake to Smith. Aikman is going to run it. Chased by Romanowski. But he gets enough for a first down. Down to the 49er 31.
Troy Aikman's not a big runner, Pat, but if you give him a lane, or you give him an opening, he'll do that just enough to you that you know that he's not a sitting target back there.
You have to honor it. He picked up 12. I wouldn't call that a scramble. I just call it a run.
It was a run, yeah. He just run and then got the first down and then ran out of bounds. Remember the last time against the Giants, he ran twice, and the second time he ran, he pulled a hamstring muscle.
The opening drive of the NFC Championship game. Darrell Johnston on the move, and this is Emmett Smith. Smith behind Tooney and Newton. Stopped by Hanks.
I think on this opening drive, the Cowboys have answered some questions. You know, is one, how is Emmett Smith, and are they going to have him in there, and is he going to be effective? The answer is so far yes.
Well, they asked Jimmy Johnson earlier this week how healthy Emmett was, and he said, I think he's going to be healthy. And they asked him again and again and again, and finally he said, hey, he's well. I pronounce him well.
And that's what Emmett said when we asked him Thursday, how are you? And he said, well, Jimmy Johnson pronounced me well.
He gets the carry. Smith tripped up, tried to cut back. Still got about 3. Carl Wilson tripped him up.
I think with that right shoulder, the thing that the Cowboys were worried about is that not the first hit or the second hit, but Emmitt Smith is hardly ever tackled by the first or second guy, but where he would be bothered by that third and fourth guy coming in there.
3rd and 1, and now the Cowboys will put Kevin Gogan, who normally plays guard, at left offensive end.
And the fans started to chant Moose, but what Moose is going to do is lead. He's going to be the lead blocker.
Emmitt Smith. First down, Dallas. To the 20. Wilson and McDonald.
And that's exactly what he did. We said that here's the Moose. They're yelling, Moose, Moose, Moose. What Moose is going to do is lead, and Emmitt Smith is going to get right in behind him. You know that, boom, he finds the hole, just enough soft spot there to get that first down. I don't think that the people here, you know, they're knowledgeable fans here, and they know that the Moose isn't going to get a heck of a lot of carries, but he's going to do a lot of lead blocking, and he will catch some balls.
Buffalo goes to the Super Bowl for the 4th consecutive year. So one of these two will face the Bills. Aikman swings it out to Emmitt Smith. Close to and picks up at first down. You just don't realize how strong Emmitt is.
Well, if you look at him from the waist down, you can see how strong he is. That's where all his power is. I mean, he has big, very strong legs, and he is a powerful man, and he never gives you anything to hit. Hey, this is darn near a perfect drive, isn't it? The way they started out here. Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays, has great mixture, run and pass, and who he's throwing it to.
First and goal from just inside the 10. Lassick is the deep back now. The rookie from Alabama. He gets fake from Aikman, who rolls and will throw it. Maybe. Aikman steps out at about the 5.
Ted Washington of the 49ers is down on the field, Patty. Something happened. He went down right away.
Let's see what happened to him if we can.
Well, what happens is you'll see why Aikman runs here. You see if we can stop it here. You can see that he's looking here. He wants to cross here, and it's not open yet. So he's going to keep trying to come running out here to the right to try and find an opening. It is there, but he didn't see it. He missed it when it was right about there, and now he's at a point where it's too late to throw it, so he thinks that he can get it as close to the goal line and get it about inside the 5-yard line.
That was Scott Galbraith, the backup or the second tight end for the Cowboys. It was open and waving right at the goal line. Ted Washington grabbed his left leg while he was on the ground, and he's still down and in pain. 9:04 left to play in the first quarter in this NFC Championship game. 0-0 score. Ted Washington standing up under his own power now. They brought a chair out to help him off the field, but well, let's see what happens.
You know, if you see, here he is right here, and you're going to see number 79, Eric Williams of the Cowboys, just knock him down. And Eric Williams right there, see him hit him right there? Eric Williams is so strong that when he just hit you, he just kind of presses you right into the carpet. Watch it, it's right here in the middle of the screen. See that hit there? I mean, he just kind of presses everything. I think all the weight goes to that one leg after he got punched by 79.
This guy is so big and so strong, it's almost scary.
Yeah, he wouldn't be fun to play against.
No.
I mean, that he'll hit and he'll knock more guys out than any tackle in this league.
Well, we've seen him do similar things to what just happened to Washington in games earlier this year. Artie Smith has taken Washington's place. Washington's left leg.
And, you know, the 49ers have a shortage inside. They have Dana Stubblefield and Ted Washington. Artie Smith is a guy who was a rookie who is a defensive end. And so they have to bring him in there now. And he's really not a tackle. He's more of an end.
Not big enough, really, to be playing inside.
And I think that the Cowboys running game, you know, would anyway pick away at that middle of that 49er defense. But from now on, I think they're going to pick away at that all day.
Second and goal from the 5-2 tight end offense for the Cowboys. Here's Emmitt Smith. Touchdown, Cowboys. Emmitt Smith from 5 yards out behind Giesick and Gogan.
You know, Pat, there's the guy that you talk about a drive, and Norv Turner knew that he was going to start this game with Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith handled the ball 7 times on that drive. 6 runs and 1 pass.
They got the opening kickoff. The extra point by Eddie Murray is good. And Dallas leads San Francisco 7-0 first quarter. Dallas first down at their own 20. Aikman going right to work. Passes to Harper, complete. First down Dallas. For a report on the physical condition of Ted Washington, let's go down to Jim Gray.
Okay, Pat, thank you very much. The report is not good. Dr. Michael Dillingham of the 49ers tells us that Washington has suffered a fractured left tibia plateau, which is just below the knee. He is immobilized. He's in a splint. He's in excruciating pain. He obviously will not return, so the news is not good. Back upstairs to you, Pat.
Not good indeed. Thank you, Jim. First and 10. Dallas at their own 36. Aikman again will throw it. Incomplete. Irvin coming across the middle, but the 49ers had that one diagnosed well.
Yeah, you want to see, we were talking about Eric Williams. Watch his first move. This right hand comes boom or right up to the face every time. That's not a bad move. I mean, you got to get your big arms out there and you see the hand, the right and then the left. And he gets him right to the face of that guy, and then he moves his head. Then he gets the pass rusher's head turned, and he's probably right now, I think, the toughest tackle to rush against in this league.
Certainly the strongest. Emmitt Smith, 2nd and 10. Emmitt out of bounds at about the 40 by Larry Roberts.
You know, he's so big and so strong that when he just gets his hands on you, I mean, just watch Eric Williams again on this play. He's going to block number 91, Larry Roberts. But when he hits him, I mean, they just kind of go sideways and flop around in circles and stuff, and he doesn't really tee off on things. He just kind of hits you and pushes you. And when he does, you just kind of go backwards and sideways.
It looks like he's not almost effortless, but people come flying away from him.
I think right now he's the best offensive tackle in football.
Third down, Aikman back. Pass caught by Michael Irvin in 49er territory. First down, Cowboys.
And remember last time they played, Michael Irvin had a big day, caught 12 passes. This is the first one he caught today. Here he is out here. You know it's just a matter of time. If you play off him like this and you let him have that much cushion, he's just going to take that little out or come back, and Aikman can throw that thing perfectly. I mean, Aikman has a strong arm, a quick release, all those things that a great quarterback has to have.
First and 10 for Aikman and the Cowboy offensive unit. Fake to Emmitt Smith. Aikman. Novacek. Another first down. Eric Davis, the defender.
You know, both these teams could do this to each other. I mean, they're so fun to watch play offense. I mean, you could go from a Harper on one side to Irvin on the other side to Novacek to Daryl Johnston. Then you can take Emmitt Smith. You can run him. You can throw to him. If you like offensive football, this is one great game.
And this man's team, George Seifert 49ers, have just as many weapons. Aikman is 7 out of 10. Smith. Inside the 35, stopped by Romanowski after a pickup of about 4.
I think the game is starting to calm down emotionally. You know, you play these big games, and the thing you worry about is that you're too fired up. You know, that you're going to do stupid things. And I think maybe in the first quarter, the 49ers were too fired up. I mean, they had some penalties. They had some, you know, things, some miscues. Then offensively, they started going. Defensively, I don't know that their defense is going to be able to stop the Cowboys all day.
Novacek on the move. Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Inside the 49er 20, down to about the 16. First down, Cowboys. Eric Davis knocked him out of bounds.
See all those things a great running back has to do, Pat. I mean, you know, he has to now. he wants a break here, but he has to be able to get open, catch the ball, move, move his legs, move his head, move his body. Then even throughout that, switch the ball from the left hand to the right hand so that the ball is towards the sidelines.
And then he has to take a little breather. And he's replaced by Derek Lassick.
That was one of the things that Jimmy Johnson said he wants to do, is play Emmett for a whole game, but give him breathers.
Aikman. Incomplete. Intended for Irvin. It was in the basket. Just didn't stay there.
Well, Irvin is so big and so strong that he usually wins these battles. This time, number 25, Eric Davis, wins the battle. I mean, Eric Davis gets in there, has that left hand a little behind, maybe gives him a little push, gets that right hand up in front of his face and eyes, and it's tough out there. I mean, it's tough out there being man-to-man on an island, and you have to do some things. Maybe he did push a little, maybe did grab a little face mask, but if you can't do those things, you can't cover Michael Irvin.
It's impossible. 2nd and 10. Draw play, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt sort of weaves his way down to about the 12. Pickup of 4, perhaps. Stopped by Mike Walter and Dennis Brown.
The Dallas Cowboys only have about 4 running plays, and the one that they run most of the time is that draw or lead draw. There's Norv Turner here. He's the offensive coordinator and probably going to be in the next couple of weeks the head coach of the Washington Redskins, but he was upset because he doesn't like to have 3rd and this long. He hoped to, pick up about 4 or 5 yards and get a 3rd and short or a 1st down.
3rd and 6. Flag on the play as Aikman fires complete to Irvin. Beg your pardon, this is Harper.
How did he get that ball in there to Harper? There looked like there were 6 or 7 red shirts there. I mean, that was an amazing thing how he zips that. I mean, we know he's quick. He's a great reader. He sees things, but look at those defenders there. I mean, he threw it in front of one and back of one and the side of the other.
Offside, number 94, defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Penalty decline. Look at it again.
Well, Harper's running a slant. Now you see his move to Eric Davis. He took that left hand and just put it right to Davis's face, and he has to hit him right there before it gets to the safety. He has to get him just beyond Davis before he gets to the safety, and then a whole bunch of other guys right in there.
That ball on the way a long time before Harper ever took a look. 1st and goal with the 4. Daryl Johnston, touchdown. The Cowboys recapture the lead. It is, as you said, John, neither team can stop the other.
No, and that's what Emmitt Smith does, too. You know that when they get down here, they're going to give the ball to Emmitt Smith. Here's Emmitt Smith. They're not going to give it to Daryl Johnston. He's the front guy. He's a blocker. See, everyone goes out with Emmitt Smith. They all over pursuit. Boom, they just hand it to Daryl Johnston, and well, he's right in the end zone.
Murray's extra point is 3rd and 13. It is intense. Steve Young, pass incomplete, is picked off by Thomas Everett. Dallas gets the turnover, the interception, and the ball at the 25. Taylor, the intended receiver.
The last 2 meetings, this is the thing that has killed the 49ers, are the turnovers. But you see, Thomas Everett's number 27. He's right in the middle of the screen. He's just playing free safety. The ball's thrown to John Taylor, just tips out of his hand. Everett's sitting back there. That's what a free safety does. You keep everything in front of you. Any tip is your ball. You go for it.
That's that turnover story you were talking about the last 2 games. The 49ers have turned it over 6 times to Dallas in 1. Here's Emmitt Smith again to about the 20. Merton Hanks came up to make the hit.
If you look, the 49ers can always move the ball against the Cowboys. The last 2 games, they've moved it for over 400 yards a game. but the key thing is you got to get the ball back, and when you do, you can't have the turnovers.
The turnovers, inevitably, they kill you. That's been the story in this game. That's the story in almost every game. 2nd and 6. The handoff is to Smith. To about the 15. In the 3rd down situation, stopped by Larry Roberts.
The way the 49er defense, the way they play when Smith runs is to stay patient. Don't pursue, don't over pursue, and that's what they do, is just everyone kind of stay around the line of scrimmage. And if you just watch, Johnston's out here, there's only one back in the backfield. See how they all just kind of stay patient, just wait on the line, although they're getting knocked off the line, and then make him commit and then go after him.
3rd and about a yard. The handoff is to Darrell Johnson, who gets the Dallas 1st down.
Darrell Johnson, something, he's in the Pro Bowl this year as a fullback. Jokes about it, he didn't even gain 100 yards the whole season as a rusher, but he does all those other things, Pat, that we talk about. He's the guy who catches, he's the guy who blocks, he's the guy that makes Troy Aikman feel very comfortable sitting in the pocket.
And Emmitt Smith. So does this guy, Kevin Gogan.
Big old Gogan, you know, the reason he's out, he's a tight end on short yardage. So after they get the 1st down, he has to go out for one play before he can come back in as a guard.
He'll be back. Here's Aikman, back to throw it. To Emmitt Smith, he'll walk in. Dallas 20. San Francisco 7.
Well, if you were wondering how Emmitt Smith is, or if they're going to use him today, or if he'll be a factor, I don't think you have to wonder anymore.
Nope. They get the turnover, and they get the points as a result of it. Murray for the extra point.
That's why Jimmy Johnson can guarantee victory.
Yeah.
To play like that.
Murray's extra point is good. It's 21-7.
Let's see if it works. See if they hand it to him and see how he runs with that stretch job.
Aikman fakes to him. Over the middle to Emmitt Smith. Stopped by John Johnson, but a pickup of 5 or 6.
You know, George Seifert had a word for the time that Troy Aikman gets. He says he has great separation. In other words, the distance from the line, the defensive line, to the point where he's throwing from, as he said, is probably the biggest separation that any quarterback in the league enjoys. Part of that's Emmitt Smith running, and a big part of it's the offensive line. And the third part is Troy Aikman.
Right. Here's Emmitt Smith. And Emmitt nudges ahead to 1st down yardage. Stopped by Mike Walter and Bill Romanowski. But he got enough to move the sticks. Excuse me.
No, I was just going to say, I think that's a good sign when you see Emmitt Smith, who we know has a separated right shoulder, when he's picked up, when someone helps him up and he gives him that right hand and lets him pick him up with that right hand, you have to believe that that right shoulder's okay. Well, I think when they keep the right hand, they give you the left hand, then the right shoulder's bad.
We were told he's not wearing any kind of unusual shoulder pads today. So when Jimmy pronounced him well, Jimmy Johnson, he got well. Blitz coming at Aikman, but what a catch by Harper. Harper right off his shoe tops.
And what a throw by Aikman. We're going to see this one. As you say, this is a great catch. I mean, Harper comes out, he works out, he just takes that ball right off the ground. But Troy Aikman was hit by John Johnson just as he threw that ball, and that's probably what made that thing dip. You talk about a great catch. Boy. He caught that with his fingertips. Watch 55 Johnson hit him. See, that's why he couldn't get everything on the ball. He went to step, and there was Johnson.
Harper, and the catch give him a 1st down. This is out to Darrell Johnston. Down to the 49er 40. Stopped by Walter. The 49ers have got to get something going defensively here, or this thing's going to be out of their hands.
Now, what they're not doing is they're not doing anything to to disrupt the rhythm of the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys and Norv Turner calling the plays, Troy Aikman running, the offensive line blocking. They've gotten into a rhythm, and the 49ers have let them stay in that rhythm. And I think you got to come up with a blitz or something different to knock them out.
Second and short, Emmitt Smith. First down, Cowboys, almost at 30. Down to about the 31-yard line, stopped by Dana Hall.
The other thing, if you can't knock them out of their rhythm defensively, then you have to hope they get a penalty or something. But just watch here, you know, we're talking about Williams, just watch his left hand. I mean, he plays like a boxer. I mean, he just comes up and he just hits those guys with those fists, and they go sideways all the time.
2 minutes left in the first half, 21-7 Dallas, and the Cowboys are on the move. Pat Summerall with John Madden at Texas Stadium, the NFC Championship. Both teams have all their timeouts remaining. Aikman is going to run. Good slide down to about the 22, close to a first. Like he might be a half yard short.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You know, again, here's Eric Williams, so you want to rush him up the field. Now, in doing that, you're going to give a big lane here to run. If we can just look, this is what Troy Aikman sees. You see Eric Williams taking, we can just stop it now. You see, once he has his guy here, the next guy's there. Look at that big running lane that he has. He has to take that, even though he's not a runner.
They need a half yard, and Johnson will get that. Stopped by Stubblefield.
You know, after a good play, you know, we saw Eric Williams make a lot of these big plays. Then during timeouts, they just water themselves down. But you don't keep it all. Watch, this is how you do it. You just squirt it all over you, and then but you don't keep it. Once you get it in there, you just let it come out. Yeah.
And that's a real 2-minute warning there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's a good one because you know sometimes you think you water yourself down, you keep it all in there.
Yeah.
But you don't, because that'll log you down. So you just kind of take it in, and then you just water the rest of the guys down.
Whether they want it or not.
Yeah, because when you're a guy like Eric Williams and you weigh about 335 pounds, you don't want to get loggy.
The winner of this game to face the AFC Championship Buffalo Bills. 4th consecutive year for Buffalo.
Congratulations to the Bills, and right now there's just 3 teams. Started out with 28 all going for this. Buffalo Bills know they're in it next week. Of course, the winner of this game will leave tomorrow. If the 49ers win, they're going to leave right from here to go to Atlanta. If the Cowboys win, they'll leave tomorrow to go to Atlanta.
That was a Cowboy timeout, so they have 2 left now. Emmitt Smith behind Aikman. Aikman has Novacek. Novacek has a Dallas touchdown. From 19 yards out, Jay Novacek barreled into the end zone.
Again, that's Jay Novacek, that's Troy Aikman, but I'll tell you, this offensive line of the Cowboys is manhandling that 49er defensive line. Look at the time Troy Aikman has to do that. See big Nate Newton,
yep.
He just took his guy and didn't even let him get off the line of scrimmage.
Eddie Murray's extra point makes it 28-7. Emmitt Smith behind Kozar. But Bernie's going to throw it again. Gets away from the rush, throws incomplete. In the direction of Darrell Johnson. Right now, let's send you to Leslie Visser.
Pat, it's been a rough year for Troy Aikman. Remember, he hurt his back, then his ribs, he pulled a hamstring, now his head. He did walk up to the locker room under his own power, but he is sitting down in there. Dr. Robert Vandermeer, the Cowboy doctor, said he will not return to the field until his head is clear. Pat?
Thank you, Leslie. As John Madden said just a minute ago, anytime it involves a neck or a head, you just have to be sure.
You know, and he's had one more thing. He's had a shoulder separation himself in addition to all those other injuries Lester just talked about.
That nobody really knew about. Kozar gives to Emmett Smith. Emmett to about the 43.
You know, an interesting thing about Bernie Kozar, a couple games ago, I saw Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator, and he had this list of plays that he was looking at before he went into the game. And I said, what's that list? And he said, that's Bernie's list. And I said, what do you mean, Bernie's list? And he says, well, before the game, Bernie gives me a list of the plays that he thinks are the best plays against that defense. So I'll bet you Norv has Bernie's list right now, and I bet you those are the plays he's calling.
They're working right now, 3rd and 4.
It's a good-looking list.
Everybody got back. No flags. Kozar quickly to Harper. Harper's gone. Niners blitzed again.
Yep, and again, Eric Davis, who went for the interception. He tried to jump in front of Harper. It was just like the championship game a year ago. Eric Davis tried to jump in front of it. Harper made the catch. And again, a heck of a throw by Bernie Kozar. About 3 or 4 heck of a throws on this drive by Bernie Kozar.
Again.
He's looking at Harper all the way. Eric Davis tried to jump it. That wasn't a great effort by Eric Davis. Merton Hanks, he overruns it, takes a bad angle, and Alvin Harper gets a touchdown.
I believe that's Dana Hall who's down, the injured 49er.
You know, the big play, the 49ers were trying to blitz him, especially when they had him backed up. When Bernie hit that play against the blitz to Michael Irvin, I think that got it back. And there's the football that Harper just scored with. Put it in your pocket. Don't hold it up.
Cowboys in command. That's Dana Hall over on the sideline. Okay, he just got the wind knocked out of him. And that's what you do with the ball. If it's a championship game, you take it home.
I said you got to hide that thing. You don't want to hold it up. Someone will come and grab it out of your hand.
Murray's extra point is good. It's 35-14. Dallas over San Francisco. It was a year ago at Candlestick.
And what you're going to see that same thing. You're going to see that slant, and you're going to see Eric Davis go for the interception. You're going to see Dana Hall take a bad angle, and you're going to see a long run by Alvin Harper.
And this is today.
Now watch him try and jump that thing. See, it's not bad if he jumped it had Merton Hanks stayed behind it, but they both tried to jump in front of it. And the bad news there, if you get it over your head, then there's nothing between the receiver. Both lines were dominating, and that was a big part of this game.
3rd and very long. Young back to throw. He is down again. Fumble forward. Waters picked it up. San Francisco ball, but it's still 4th down and long.
I remember one time that we made that play famous. We're playing the San Diego Chargers, and Kenny Stabler fumbled the ball. We had no timeouts. Pete Banaszak tried to pick it up. He fumbled it. It went into the end zone, and Dave Casper jumped on it. That's one way to gain a lot of yardage is on a fumble.
4th down. That wasn't planned or anything, was it?
No.
Here's Young to throw. Maybe. Steve Young is tackled from behind by Jeff Coat, and the Cowboys take over. He just stayed with it, stayed after him.
Jim Jeffcoat didn't run like an 11-year veterinaire. He ran like a...
Bernie Kosar, the Dallas quarterback. That familiar stance of his with one foot way behind the other. This is Emmitt Smith. Smith for about 7. Emmitt Smith has been effective.
And I think if you look by quarter, you see that he rushed for 24 and caught for 50 in the first quarter, then 36 and 34. So most of his work was in that first half, but that's when the Cowboys got their big lead, too.
That was that dominating first half. They led 28-7.
And that shows how important Emmitt Smith is to this team. I think that it's him, and because of him, that a lot of other things work.
2nd and 3. Dahlberg was the man in motion, but the handoff is to Emmitt Smith. First down, Cowboys. Across midfield. Bernie Kosar is the Dallas quarterback because Troy Aikman was kicked in the head earlier. Was woozy on the sideline. They took him to the locker room. He's still there. And Kosar has taken over. Thrown the touchdown pass to Harper.
And I think you like that. You know, I mean, to have a veteran quarterback that is a bright guy that has been in big games, I think Bernie Kosar is probably the perfect guy for this situation.
Darrell Johnston hit after he got a couple. Dennis Brown. Excuse me, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say, they say that Troy Aikman is still dazed in the locker room, and they're probably not even going to let him come back out on the field. I think that these guys, as defensive linemen, you see Charles Haley there, number 94, big Leon Lett next to him. We talk about the offensive line dominating. These guys dominated the 49ers, especially in that first half.
Bernie Kosar puts Darrell Johnston in motion and goes back to throw it. Out to Johnston. Close to a first down. Wrestled out of bounds by Don Griffin.
Let's watch big Nate Newton here, Pat. Sometimes, you know, this is where it all starts. You can have the quarterbacks and stuff, but you have to have these guys. You have to have these big guys that just take their load and put it against your load. Just lay on there, get that hand in there. You see Nate working him. He's working the hands, he's working the feet, and then just boom, it just gives him a little push to the thing. Yeah, now this guy's not a fat guy. I mean, look at this. This isn't, you know, a bad body. I mean, that's about, he weighs about 350 there, but look at him. I mean, he doesn't look bad.
And you're telling me he's not fat?
No, I think he looks good. I think he's just a massive man.
Kosar incomplete in the direction of Harper. Let's go back and have another look now.
Well, we could show you pictures of the guy in their uniform or in their shorts. But look, I mean, he really is. I mean, he has big legs, big muscles, big arms, big chest, and you know, and you always think he's just a big old fat guy, but he can really move. I mean, he really is.
He can move. You're right.
Look at these guys. I mean, they're here. They're laughing at him and everything.
But you got to give me. He could weigh less, and it would be okay.
What? Weigh less than he does now?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. If you're Nate, you have to have some combinations hanging up there.
He's got them.
But that's what gives you the bulk to knock guys back.
That's Emmitt Smith to about the 35. Stopped by Merton Hanks.
Look at Nate. He'll do a little coaching. He's working there with John Giesecke, you know, with Stepnoski out, Mark Stepnoski, their center. You have to, you know, work with a different center, and that's been different for those guards.
Two good-sized guys on the right side of that offensive line, too. Gogan and Eric Williams.
Yeah, they're both like 6'6", 6'7". Gogan's 6'7", 330 pounds. I mean, that's a load the whole thing. I mean, that's just the right side. That's a big old load.
3rd and 6. Kosar, timeout. He wasn't quite sure. Dallas ball, 3rd and 6. Kosar to Emmitt Smith. Eddie Murray from 50 yards away. Novacek holding. Gonna get there. Murray is good. incomplete.
Here comes the bath.
Look out.
Charles Haley and Leon Lett. Whoa! You know, if there's one guy that would lead it would be Charles Haley.
Yeah. Did not even mess up the part.
No, the hair didn't even move.
Yeah,
Look at it.
It gave a little bit, but it snapped right back.
He left. That's the only thing that stopped him coaching for a moment.
Right.
You see that? But the whole crowd was into it. The fans saw the whole thing coming.
Steve Young still firing for Rice. Incomplete.
You ever wonder what one of these things look like in slow motion? That's the effect of slow motion. I'll tell you, if you're going to do it, it takes two big defensive linemen to do it, and they did it well.
And it came off that hair like water off a duck.
Tell you, winning is great, Pat.
Well, as Dan Reeves of the Giants said to us earlier, there is no high like a Sunday afternoon and a victory.
Up, and you're going to the Super Bowl, and doesn't get any better than that.
Jamie Williams will get a 49er first down. The Cowboys try to rip it loose, but they're going to say he was down, and he was. But the clock doesn't stop. 1 minute. 1 minute left. Most career postseason receiving yards goes now to Jerry Rice.
Yeah, and he caught more postseason yardage than two of my old receivers, Cliff Branch and Fred Biletnikoff.
Former, you never say old.
Yeah, former. They were great players.
There's a guy who goes unnoticed and who does a really a good job. Mark Tuinei.
Mark Tuinei, number 71. I think you talk about a guy who's maybe underrated, maybe even underappreciated, but he's been out there, and he's been out there for a long time at that left tackle, an 11-year veteran, you know, protecting the backside of the quarterback. And
Steve Young has his pass deflected. And incomplete. There is, boy, what a future he's got.
Yep, I think, you know, I mean, look at the size of him. I mean, how'd you like to have to play against him and try and get around you? You know, and most offensive linemen are a little passive. This guy plays like a defensive player. Look at Leon Lett. They copped his hat.
Big Cat lost his hat.
Yeah, I mean, the game's not even over, and they cop Big Cat's hat. You can't cop a man's hat before the game's over.
Yeah, Jerry's got a new shirt.
You know, where are those things if you don't win? I mean, where are the 49ers stuff like that?
Jamie Williams makes the reception, and 30 seconds remain. Kevin Gogan will be a free agent after this is over. He said to us the other day, I'm going to take a look at it and make sure I don't slip through a crack.
335 pounds, you don't slip through any cracks.
Jimmy's ready to get this thing over.
What's Emmitt Smith doing? He's standing there by Jimmy. He took off the shoulder pads. He's starting to coach. He's telling guys to get back.
I think it's a little early for him to coach.
Yeah, everyone has a get-back coach, you know, to get the guys back away from the sideline. That's what Emmitt's doing. He takes the pads off, and he's a get-back coach.
There's Rich Dalrymple there with his arms folded. What a job he's done. We want to thank him for his help over the years.
Yeah, the guy right there, Rich Dalrymple. He's been in the area of PR guys. He's a superstar.
The best to work with. A lot of smiles on that side.
Well, going to the Super Bowl will put smiles on your face. Like, you know, you can talk about money and what football is, but it's winning a Super Bowl and having that ring, because that ring stays with you the rest of your life.
Bernie Kosar, as you said, John, he probably won't be here next year, but he came in and did the job when he had to. Young is going up overhead, a flag on the play. It's out of the end zone and incomplete, but there's a penalty marker down. There's Ken Norton's now to get back coach. He's taken over.
I think the get-back coaches want the game to get over so they can get in the locker room and start getting ready for next week.
Start packing the bags for Atlanta.
Automatic first down.
Automatic first down. 3 seconds left.
Look,
Dallas 38-21.
Ken Norton's on the field himself. The get-back coach can't even get on the sideline. I think the officials give up in this area of the game and say, let them celebrate. This is a championship. This is a championship. This is winning. This is going to Super Bowls. This is the best feeling you can ever have.
Down out of the stands onto the sideline. And it is indeed a great feeling. Mike Lorvin over for a visit. Jimmy Johnson and Emmitt Smith trying to get through that crowd. That's going to be a tough job.